Welcome to the Silicon Labs webinar. It's covering the Internet Infrastructure Design Challenges. The purpose of the webinar is to share solutions to some of the most common challenges facing engineers like yourselves today when you're working on equipment for the Internet infrastructure. So this slide clearly shows some data that an analyst, IDC, gathered for us. It shows that over a third of the Earth's population today is online. And the sheer volume of the data being created and consumed by the devices that these people have is staggering. It's growing at a crazy rate. This chart breaks that traffic into two specific sources. They show it as consumer and business. The majority is clearly attributed to the ever-increasing amount of consumer devices, as I mentioned before, that are connecting to the Internet. Lots of people are terming this the Internet of Things. But the chart also includes some logos of a few popular video streaming services. I think we all know that we're streaming YouTube or our Netflix over our devices, over our televisions. And this is requiring that the new Internet infrastructure equipment be able to deliver higher and higher bandwidths. However, it's interesting if you look at this chart, the business contribution. We see this as networks continue to evolve to allow employees to access their business and their home networks. They're trying to make them more and more transparent. And this flexibility, it's started to add more and more complexity to, for one thing, the security required by new networking equipment. And then also, we all are starting to see cloud services popping up that are providing us access to our business applications, access to our data from any device within our Internet. And this growing use of cloud services has required new solutions, and another area would probably be to provide more efficient and storage and access to content. Altogether, these demands that are shown on this slide are causing new solutions to be developed, and probably most of you on this webinar are addressing those challenges for the Internet infrastructure. So let's look at how we define the Internet infrastructure at Silicon Labs. We start by looking at the simple picture of our typical home with all of our growing need to access the Internet. Now, we try to break it up into a very simple segments. We have three areas. On the prior slide, we talked about increased bandwidth, additional security, and more security is just a few of the demands being made on our Internet infrastructure. We think that that's impacting the equipment in three segments, and so I'll show you really quickly where we break that up. So the first is the broadband access and aggregation. This equipment is basically responsible for providing all of us means to connect to the Internet. It's through our cable, through our Ethernet connections, and most popular now is our wireless devices. And so we see the equipment listed here as seeing major changes in how they're supporting the demands of the bandwidth. And then there's the equipment for the data centers and the cloud computing. This equipment allows companies to continue to offer the new cloud services that I was talking about in the prior slide. They provide us access to our personal and professional data and applications. And while this equipment is continuing to add all these features, they're working very, very hard to lower the overall power budget required by these data centers. And we'll touch on that in our webinar today. And finally, the tried and true. It's the backbone of the Internet infrastructure. This is what we traditionally think of when we think of Internet infrastructure. It's found in the metro and the core of the network. It's truly what we have all defined as the backbone, and the equipment must continue to advance. It needs to continue to provide this breaking bandwidth to support all of these connections that we're showing in this chart. While different in some ways, all three of these segments, access, data center, and then the core and the metro, are creating common design challenges that we're going to address on this webinar. And it's all in your guys' efforts to produce the next generation of Internet infrastructure equipment. So what we're talking about here is to generate the next generation of equipment, Engineers constantly have to add the latest and greatest, whether it's an embedded or a network processor or an FPGA solution onto your design. In Silicon Labs, we've worked very closely with the leading providers of these semiconductor solutions. We're trying to help you guys shorten your design cycles and, with our products, increase the performance of your end products. And you can see here, these are just a few of the lead suppliers that we are partnered with, and we're an integral part of some of the reference platforms.